Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Redevelopment Agency meeting of September the 16th, 2009 is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 and are closed captioned for our hearing impaired viewers. The Redevelopment Agency meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, can be viewed on the city's website at www.kclv.tv. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m. and also on Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 1 p.m. This building is protected by a state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system, so if alarms should activate, please leave through the exits, and then you'll be able to re-enter the building once our marshals say that it's safe. And I make this announcement at every single meeting. It's just out of abundance of caution, no reason to expect that that would in fact take place. We'll go to item number 3, which is approval of the final minutes by reference of the regular Redevelopment Agency meeting of August 19th, 2009. May I have a motion, please?
So moved, Your Honor.
All right, please vote. Post. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 4 is discussion and possible action regarding the undertakings of the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency in connection with the First Amendment to the Commercial Visual Improvement Program Agreement between the RDA and Plug It In, Roman numeral 2, LLC, the participant, located at 217 North Las Vegas Boulevard, to be in compliance with and in furtherance of the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan, and authorizing the execution of a CVIP amendment by the RDA. This is a sum of $11,800 from the RDA Special Revenue Fund, and this is in Ward 5. Mr. Arendt?
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, members of council. For the record, Bill Arendt, Acting Director, Office of Business Development. The item before you today is an amendment to the VIP agreement with Plug It In 2 LLC, which is a company owned by Steven Siegel, the Siegel Group. This is amending an agreement to reflect additional improvements that Mr. Siegel wishes to do to the Travel Inn Motel. The improvements that he wants to do, in addition to what he's already done, are similar to what's been done to the Gold Spike Hotel and Casino. And that is a brick facade, adding a brick facade to the Travel Inn Motel. Because of this additional expense, we're recommending amending the existing agreement to award additional funds through the VIP program to Mr. Siegel in the amount of $11,800. This is reflective of the amount of time, money, and effort that Mr. Siegel's put into the property. He's invested over $5 million into the property. We think this is an excellent addition to downtown, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Arendt? Any folks from the Siegel Company here? All right, I wanted to... There's Ms. Perez back there. All I can tell you is keep it up, because you are making a real difference in our downtown, just from what you do with the conversions of the rundown apartments, making them into first-class facilities, and what you've done with the Gold Spike is really remarkable, and we thank you for it. Councilman Barlow?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. And I, too, would like to commend the entire Siegel Group for a job well done. They have taken, as you mentioned, Mayor, a lot of properties, not only in the downtown but around the Las Vegas Valley, and have done an outstanding job in regards to the redevelopment of these once upon a time blighted properties. And the Gold Spike is no exception. Mayor, as you can recall, just a few short years ago, a lot of us wouldn't have entered the Gold Spike due to the ambiance and the appeal. And today I encourage everyone here and everyone listening out in TV world to really go in and experience what a great job that has taken place inside of the Gold Spike. It's a very beautiful property, and with them coming forward with the VIP to take part in the city's incentives to improve this property, I encourage other businesses to do the same. I do have a question for Ms. Perez, if she will come forward, in regards to the property itself at the Gold Spike. I'm sorry, the Travel Inn. I see that the area where the pool was previously located. I went by there on yesterday and I saw some work being done. Are you all looking to improve the pool? Will the pool remain? Give us an update as to what we can expect at the Travel Inn. Can we take it to the overhead, Bill? Do we have an overhead?
I don't believe we have the drawing, but I wish we did. But it's going to be an amazing pool. It's going to be bigger than it actually was, and
I'm not sure if we can zoom in on the plans here as far as the rendering.
I'm not sure if you could see it on the rendering.
Okay.
It's not very clear.
Okay.
It's going to be a bigger and better pool.
So the pool will be improved.
Yes.
And just give us an update as to what we can expect as far as some of the amenities coming into the Travel Inn.
Well, the Travel Inn is going to be connected to the Gold Spike, and as you're going to be able to walk outside of the Travel Inn, a Gold Spike, you're going to be able to connect to the Travel Inn. And just some of the amenities is that we're rehabbing the Travel Inn rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So the pool will be brand new, and we're going to be doing an outside area so that people can come, bands could come, and other music groups could come and enjoy music and festivities out there.
And so this is an opportunity to tie into what we're doing on East Fremont as far as having the theme music and venues and properties.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. And with that, Mayor and Council, I would like to move or request an approval of this item subject to all conditions, and would like to thank the Siegel Group once again for all of the great work that you all have done here in the downtown community.
Thank you.
Very good. Let's vote, please. Vote. Motion carries. Good luck to you. Item number 5 is RA 16-2009, discussion and possible action regarding a resolution finding the project proposed by the Commercial Visual Improvement Program agreement between the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency and Nical Associates, LLC, the owner, located at 1112 South Casino Center Boulevard, to be in compliance with and in furtherance of the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan, and authorizing the execution of the CVIP agreement by the RDA, $50,000 RDA Special Revenue Fund. This is in Ward 3, and this item is related to Council Item 46. Mr. Arndt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a new project in the Arts District in downtown. The project's located at the southwest corner of Charleston and Casino Center Boulevard. The owner purchased the property approximately 2 years ago, and they've embarked on an ambitious renovation program, as you can see in the picture on the overhead. They're investing approximately an additional $610,000 to renovate the property, to convert it into an art gallery and a photography studio. And we do think it's going to be a fine addition to downtown. The property improvements include an additional 2,000 square feet of building improvements by adding a second floor, new parking, landscaping, brick building facades, and conversion of solid exterior walls to plate glass. The business has moved forward very quickly with the improvements, and one of the requirements of the VIP program that you established to meet the test in redevelopment law for no other reasonable means of financing requires that we just approve improvements that are forward-looking. And so because of that, we've worked with the business owner, and we'd like to recommend to you today to not exceed a grant for the VIP program of $16,540, with the understanding that because of the significant amount of money and investment that the owner has done, the redevelopment agency will take back to you an additional agreement for additional improvements or equipment to the property in the amount of $33,460 to max out the $50,000 VIP match. We think that's the right thing to do given the size of the investment that the business is making. So we're going to do this instead of in one step, in 2 steps, where we're going to invest through the VIP program $16,540 and take back an agreement at an upcoming council meeting to invest additional money into the business and into the property. And as I stated before, they are sinking an incredible amount of money into this property, and we do think it's a fine addition to downtown. A representative of the owner, Stephen Rubior, is here to represent the owner, and we have discussed this approach with him, and he's generally agreeable with the approach.
Mayor, Councilman, Steve Rubior, 112 South Casino Center Boulevard. Bill and I had the opportunity to meet this morning, discuss the complications of where the RDA is at with our expedited construction process. So it sounds like we are in an agreement with what he has proposed to us. With your approval.
Well, we're always here to hear from you if, in fact, there's a misunderstanding some later time.
Okay, thank you.
It seems pretty clear to me as to what you're trying to accomplish here. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you very much. Steve, thanks for being here this morning. We certainly appreciate what you're doing in our Arts District. I know a lot of the artists are going to be taking that to have a place to apply their wares and do their jobs. So thanks again. With that said, Your Honor, I make a motion to follow staff's recommendation with all conditions, please.
Mr. Mayor, before we take a vote, if I could ask the Mayor Pro Tem in his motion to add to the record for the VIP program not to exceed $16,540 with the intent to take a future agreement back to City Council.
That was your recommendation, so that was my motion.
Yes.
Very good. Let's vote, please. Post.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah, what he said.
Motion carries. Good luck
Thank
to
you.
Item number 6 is report and possible action regarding redevelopment agency projects currently under contract or negotiation, other projects proposed or other under construction within or near the redevelopment area, and to provide an overview of programs and initiatives, and this pertains particularly towards 1, 3, and 5. Mr. Arndt?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to be giving you a quarterly overview of things that are happening in the RDA, focusing on some trends as well as some new projects. First, I'd like to touch on the economic outlook. I think it's important in these times. The RDA office vacancy rate is actually performing quite well compared to the rest of the region. In the chart, you see on the top, which is in blue, the Las Vegas Valley vacancy rate for second quarter 09 of over 21%, with the office vacancy rate in the redevelopment area at only 10%. So we think that's a positive trend and shows where we're very competitive in the regional market. We've also been very competitive in terms of office rents. If you look at the chart here for the RDA, you see the rents of $2.38 per square foot, which compares favorably to the regional rent of $2.31 per square foot. And it's interesting to note the trend shows the RDA outperforming the region, where it's been mixed in prior quarters. The retail vacancy rate is really the inverse, and part it's due to one of our strategies. Part of this is by design. We're trying to generate new retail space in the downtown area. Per year downtown Centennial Plan, the ground floor retail for mixed-use projects, the ground floor use has to be devoted to retail. So because of that, we brought on a lot of new retail. You see the jump in quarter of 08 with the vacancy rate, and now you see it starting to stabilize. We expect over time, as we work on our retail initiative and filling that vacant space, that you'll see the retail vacancy rate for the RDA, which is on top, or the blue of 19%, approach that of the region, which now is 9%, second quarter of 09. The retail rent, also the RDA has lagged. Again, that's a function, I think, of all the new space that we brought online, where you see rents lagging the general market, with the bar in blue, the RDA rent, the bar in orange for the region's rent. Wanted to touch on some results we've had recently. We've been very successful in generating new taxes in the downtown area. Thankful to our businesses supporting and growing our tax base, and we actually exceeded our budget closing out fiscal year, where we projected $24.7 million. We finished over $27 million. That's enabled us to do a lot of large projects that we're embarking on. The Smith Center started construction. The Mob Museum Core and Shell is underway now, and the RDA is funding a part of that project, the Core and Shell part, with other city funds going to the balance of the project. So you can see the $11 million contribution from the agency. And then Symphony Park, utility work and infrastructure continues on an ongoing basis. Because we're owner, master developer, we're putting the infrastructure making sites ready for developers and partners to build in Symphony Park. Projects under construction, this includes not only the downtown area, but areas that we focus on for new business districts, which include the Las Vegas Technology Center, also the medical district, and the project TELUS that we're working on. Shows projects under construction and their evaluation versus projects completed in 2009. You do see a slight fall off of the trend of less in the pipeline than we've had in the past, where the projects under construction currently have a valuation of roughly $879 million compared to projects completed during the year of $1.2 billion. And then you can see the incredible job impact that these projects have when we aggregate them across both the downtown area and in our business parks as well. Some of the business development results, we've approved and committed $320,000 in VIP grant funds. That excludes, that's through the fourth quarter of 2009. And this really reemphasizes the importance of that program to small business.
Your Honor, if I may,
Sorry, Councilman Ross.
before you go on, can you go back to that last, and go back to the next one? I think it's important, Mr. Arndt, and for the council's benefit and for the residents of this city to understand, when you give us this report, where this money comes from for these things, so that the taxpayers of this city recognize this is not coming out of our, it's taxes, all right, but it's not coming out of our regular taxes that we would pay as residents of the city of Las Vegas. Tell us, if you don't mind, briefly, with the mayor's permission,
Sure.
Where does this money come from to do these great things as you present this slide and then the next slide?
Certainly, Councilman, and thank you for illuminating that point. All of our, not only our redevelopment efforts, but even our business development efforts are funded from the redevelopment agency funds. Our redevelopment agency funds, quite simply, come from property taxes from new construction in the redevelopment area, new tax increments. So we're not using general funds, and we're not even using taxes from the projects that existed prior to when we created the redevelopment area. All the businesses that existed prior to 1986, it's only the new projects coming into our redevelopment area.
And Your Honor, if I may, one more time, and the most important point that you're making is that money comes from taxes from the redevelopment area only, correct?
That's correct.
And that's important for the taxpayers of the city to clearly understand where that money comes from, because there's been a lot of miscommunication out there as to where those funds are coming from to do these great things that the redevelopment agency has set out to do. So I appreciate that.
It's really almost like for business owners in the audience and the listening public, if you have a business that's succeeding and you're investing your retained earnings back into the business. If you think of the redevelopment area, the entire area is a business, and our downtown district does function like a business where we have complementary projects. We're reinvesting our revenues back into the area.
And now, Your Honor, go to the next slide, Mr. Arndt. Now look at that. Those are phenomenal, phenomenal numbers from us reinvesting back into downtown, where those funds come from. And I just wanted to make a point.
No, I appreciate that. We're doing better with our stimulus program than Washington.
So the business development results, we've had success with the VIP program. You see the leverage ratio for every dollar we spend, like the money you spent this morning, we're getting a return of $22. We think it's an incredible, wise use of our redevelopment dollars. We've been studying the Ward 1 Sahara Avenue corridor, looking at...
Your Honor, let me stop him one more time.
Go ahead.
What's the national average for the investment ratio across the country?
We engaged Applied Analysis, and they did a study for us, and I believe the national averages range in the range of 8 to 1 to 10 to 1.
So for every dollar invested, they're getting $10 back,
$8 to $10 back.
We're getting $22 back for every dollar we reinvest in the downtown redevelopment.
For the VIP program.
For the VIP program. Okay, thank you. Thank you for clearing that up.
We've done field surveys to support the work we're doing in the Sahara Avenue corridor, and really the importance of that is we're looking at potentially expanding the redevelopment area to try to help some of our older business corridors, which are more mature area of the city. We've also made a lot of marketing presentations. In downtimes, marketing is incredibly important, trying to attract new business into the city, so we've been very active with that. I'm not going to go through our long list of projects, but just touch on some projects that have had some progress and some change. Jewel is a project that the city supported where there are 341 units, and we've worked with a developer to learn as of beginning of September, they closed 36 units, and there are a lot of additional units under hard contract with bonding deposits. So we're still very optimistic that that project's going to continue to succeed for downtown and be a nice addition to downtown. You can see on the slide the number of construction jobs, the permanent jobs, and the project value, which again contributes to that redevelopment dollar tax base that we can reinvest back into the community. The Gold Spike we touched on this morning. You can see the improvements there. 11 construction jobs, over 40 permanent jobs, and that's just with the Gold Spike. The Travel Inn, is not open yet. And you see the project value there. They're looking at a completion for the end of this year. Alpha Omega is a mixed-use housing project at Vegas and Decatur. The site has been graded in preparation for construction, and they're working with grocery store Marianas to build on that site. They're also working to attract additional retail and build a housing on the western edge of the site that you see depicted in red there. I'll have a nice addition to the community for construction jobs as well as permanent jobs, and you see the project value there as well.
Excuse me.
Yes, Councilwoman.
Is that still senior housing?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Telus is a business that opened in the spring. Like a lot of call centers, they don't open up in one shot. They just open up over time where they get the building up and running, and then they add slowly over time more and more employees. The plan is to eventually have 1,000 permanent jobs. We're working on an agreement to take back agreement today as well as a future council meeting to specify where they're at as far as the jobs to date and new jobs coming into the community. So I'll talk in more detail at the council item for the project. But you see the project value there, $126,000. That was just for the facade, and permanent jobs, again, it's really going to be a great employment base for the community. And you see the construction jobs. It was already a call center when they moved in, so not a lot of new construction work. Some major projects, and this is one we're really tracking and excited about. Golden Nugget is opening the Rush Tower, which is a 500-room tower addition. You see a projection of permanent jobs based on the hotel room and the amenities in the project, the amount of construction jobs. We did not participate in this project financially, but it shows when we invest our money wisely that private partners want to invest alongside with us. The tower addition is almost complete. I believe that they're going to have a grand opening as far as open for business with room occupancy as early as November of this year. And you see the project value there, conservatively estimated at $310 million. It's been a real nice addition and will help our tax increment to reinvest back into the area.
And Mr. Arndt, wasn't completely accurate. We did help them. We closed First Street, as
we
you know.
closed First Street,
so
that's
they would
correct.
be able to have this project.
Right. The
I mean,
redevelopment
without
did
the
not,
city's help, this would not be taking place.
we did not participate financially.
Right, but we certainly helped them to effectuate this terrific addition to downtown.
Right. That's
Okay.
correct. The state is investing in downtown. They're in the process of finishing out the new campus office building near our Dula Center off of Bonanza. You see the construction jobs, the permanent jobs there. That is jobs already in the state system, so it's not necessarily new jobs to the community, but every job is important to count downtown because there's a spillover effect to demand for services in downtown, such as retail. You see the project value there of about $29 million. Symphony Park, the Cleveland Clinic, Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health. We have an item later on the council portion of the agenda, so I'll talk in detail about the project as well as the upcoming plans, but you see the impact both on construction jobs and permanent jobs and the project value. With the campus, it says scheduled opening of 2010. That's the full operations. They're actually taking patients today, and as we'll hear later today, being very successful in seeing patients at the facility. And you see a rendering of the building there. The Smith Center for the Performing Arts is in active construction, and they're right now 125 construction jobs. I believe at peak employment for construction, we're looking at as many as 1,000 jobs. And you see the permanent jobs there. The subflooring is almost complete, and the vertical construction should be visible within a month. The grade does fall off from Granite Central Parkway, so if our listening audience is driving by the site, you might not see all the work, but there's an incredible amount of construction work going on. I'd like to thank our partner in the Smith Center and the contractor for doing a good job so far. We are on schedule and on budget, and this is a really exciting project for downtown. Live Work Las Vegas, we're still committed to finalize our financing for the new City Hall with your future review and approval, as well as the Live Work Office project and the Hotel Casino in Symphony Park. You see on the bottom right the construction jobs and the permanent jobs and the project value of those three projects, a huge impact on downtown. We're still working towards bringing those final agreements back to you at a later date. The City Hall Annex, we're working with a major national developer in an exclusive negotiation agreement for development of what we had previously called the City Hall Annex site, where we originally decided to expand City Hall. Now we're moving that to near Main and Lewis, and instead we're looking at private taxable development to go on this campus. We're excited that we are making progress in our negotiations with the developer, and we do expect in either late October or early November to bring that E&A back to you for review and approval. The CIM Lady Luck Post Office block, the Lady Luck still is a work in progress, but one of the significant things is that through hard work by the City Council as well as our partner CIM, we were successful in enacting a tourism improvement district. This will benefit primarily the city because the future sales tax dollars that will be generated from the development on the site that you see in the foreground there will come back to the city for reinvesting in public improvements, a parking garage, streetscape, and improvements to support not only the private development in the area, but also our Mob Museum in the future. You see the construction jobs as well as the permanent jobs of the project. Again, one of our larger projects, and we're slowly but surely working through all the details to bring that back at a future council meeting. That's all I have for you today. Be glad to answer any questions you might have.
No, it's a very, very good report. Councilman Wilson?
Mayor Goodman, thank you. Bill, I know that one of your first slides talked about the retail space being having an extraordinarily high vacancy rate, and I know that a lot of that rate is as a result of us opening up new condominium projects with retail on the bottom, but because of the recessionary times, we're unable to lease that space out, and that's why the vacancy retail figure is so high. My question is, does the city, can we play any role at all with the developer to give incentives or to enhance the opportunities for retail to go in to these private structures?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, Councilman. I think we're doing a couple of things. One is we have and we're going to continue to have a retail initiative where we work directly with end users, retail businesses. We have, as you know, a former retail broker on our staff, and Julie Quisenberry, who's an excellent part of our team in trying to attract retail tenants. Part of that means information, that we have more information on downtown than if you just took some software package like Claritas off the shelf trying to study, should I open a store in the redevelopment area? The software package off the shelf might tell you no, but when you get current up-to-date information from the redevelopment agency on exactly what businesses there are in downtown, how many residents, how many visitors, how many new businesses coming online, new residents coming into the area, then it may change the picture. The other important piece, the second piece, is our VIP program. Because we don't have an economic development incentive specifically for the retail industry, we rely pretty heavily on our existing programs like the VIP program to try to get retail businesses into the downtown area. Certainly the business that you saw today, this morning, the art gallery, is a good indicator of that there are not a lot of direct dollars that we can do to help a retailer make a decision to locate, but making the space more readily available, making it not a barrier to entry to try to take over space that maybe has been not well kept or hasn't been used over the past few years. That's really the purpose of the VIP program, to make that space as inexpensive or even less expensive than the regional market to get retailers to locate to downtown. So those are the two things that we do and we're going to continue to do.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Yes, Mayor Goodman?
Yes, Councilor Barlow.
Yes. Mr. Arndt, thank you so very much for your great presentation. And as we know, sitting on this council, that the redevelopment area is more, of course, than just downtown. And a great majority of it also exists within the historical West Las Vegas community. And with the widening of MLK, which I've stated and I will continue to state that Martin Luther King, after the completion and the complete build-out, will be the most beautiful Martin Luther King in the nation. And so with that, that is a prime corridor where I believe we need to continue our focus to drive more business down that corridor, and in particular the Enterprise Park as well, being that we have, I believe, right at 20, a little bit over 20 acres available for employment opportunities for the community. And so as we continue to bring about these new developments in the downtown community, as well as with the expansion of the Sahara Corridor, I want to make sure that we continue to work simultaneously to really drive a lot of that redevelopment north as well down the corridor of Martin Luther King, and as well as the opportunity, the residential and the mixed-use opportunities that exist within the Jackson Street area as well.
Yes, I know that we're working now on an interdepartmental coordination team to focus on West Las Vegas. How do we strategically improve it? All the corridors, certainly the two corridors you spoke of, Martin Luther King corridor and Jackson Street. One of the important things to know, I think, for your constituents and the listening audience is that redevelopment for us isn't necessarily just synonymous with downtown. It includes some of our older, more mature neighborhoods in West Las Vegas, in East Las Vegas. And when you see some of these large projects come on in line in downtown, that's a good thing not only for downtown, but for our neighborhoods that are supporting downtown, because those tax dollars can be invested not just in downtown, but back into those neighborhoods. So certainly we'll continue to work with you and your office and your constituents in the ward and in the community to make sure that we take a hard look at what resources we have, how do we spend them not only in downtown but across the entire community, the whole redevelopment area, and what's the most bang for the buck. Enterprise Park is a good example. There's some new improvements I know that you're looking at, and to the extent that we have funds available and we can distribute them evenly across the area, that's something we can look to do.
Right, and I appreciate that, because understanding that we need to have a viable and thriving downtown community, and if downtown Las Vegas is successful, then the spill out, if you will, to the surrounding areas, wards 1, wards 3, wards 5, that touch the redevelopment boundaries, all reap the benefits. So, of course, we want to continue to push and bring about a very strong downtown so that the spillover of the tax incentives and the recovery of the monies that we receive within the RDA will be able to drive some of the blighted areas inside of our neighborhoods. So I appreciate that.
And one quick point I'd add too, Councilman, is we're limited by our current redevelopment plan, which you've adopted, that we can only invest redevelopment agency funds back into areas that are within our redevelopment plan area boundaries. So if there are portions in the community, whether it be your constituents or other areas that surround downtown that are not located in the boundaries, that's something that we need to talk to the community, explain that restriction, and then see if we can work to maybe expand the boundaries to help out a broader area for the community.
Right, and you're dead on, because when we expanded the RDA, I believe it was 2006, the last time it was expanded, a large portion of the residential piece in historical West Las Vegas was taken out due to the element of with the taking of the land. What is the term?
Eminent domain.
Eminent domain. Thank you, Mayor. I drew a blank for a second. Eminent domain. But there is a great opportunity for the residential component to be included in the RDA if, in fact, we place conditions on eminent domain so that we can build up the residential component in the residential area that currently doesn't exist today. Is that accurate?
That's correct. And if we seek to expand the redevelopment area, which we intend to do at the staff level, we need your support and direction to guide us on what the rules we are going to apply for the new areas. So if that's an issue that you want to clearly address in the plan, that's something we can take a look at, working with the council and with the city attorney's office to make sure that the needs of your constituents are addressed so that residents understand what we can do and can't do with the money, and then if there are issues that we can address when we look to expand the area, that's something that we can have an honest discussion about to try to make sure that we address.
Right, and I would like for that to be a part of those discussions because a lot of longtime residents in this particular area that we're speaking of have a fear of the city or government coming in and taking their property. And this council has not demonstrated going in and taking anyone's property, and I believe that we'll continue to stand behind that. But at the same time, we need to make sure, in order to bring up a lot of the communities, the older communities that is, in order to bring them up to today's standard, specifically within the bounds of the RDA, the Redevelopment Agency, that it does benefit residential properties to be within the RDA so that the residential properties will have an opportunity to reap the benefits of the incentives that come along with it. So thank you for that, and I look forward to that being a part of the conversations as we look to move forward to expand the RDA. And thank you for your great presentation.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Your Honor. Before I make a motion to approve, accept the report, I do have just a couple comments I'd like to make also. I think the most important thing to realize is that everything that we're doing in the Redevelopment Agency is not only a benefit to the downtown, but it is a benefit to all the residents of the city of Las Vegas. The tax revenue we're receiving from those portions of our redevelopment agency that has been completed has just soared, and I think the school district and many other groups are receiving a lot of benefit from the downtown area. I'd move to accept the report with everything that's been said by the other council members and the mayor incorporated in my motion, please.
Thank you. Let's vote on that, please. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Arnott. Item number 7, this is citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the Redevelopment Agency, and no subject may be acted upon by the Redevelopment Agency unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come on up, give us your name, and we'll put the 3-minute timer on, please.
Is this the one to sign? Good morning, Your Honor and Council. Yeah, get here. First of all, I want to go ahead and thank...
State your name for the record.
Excuse me, Stanley Washington, 4299 Las Vegas Boulevard. Excuse me, Lucas Avenue, Las Vegas. I want to go ahead and thank Bill Arndt for that wonderful report. He continues to be a top-notch performer, and he will continue to do so. The report that he gave, obviously, was one that was very upbeat and says a lot of things. But from my perspective, I see what Charles Dickens saw. It's the best of times, and it's the worst of times, depending on what end of the spectrum you're on. And while that report is a report to you, Your Honor, of the best of what's going on in Las Vegas, I have to come to you today to report the other side. I've been informing this body for 15 years, long before all of you were up there, when Ms. Jones and Ms. Hawkins was on that council. I continue to have that role and do that role, and will be doing that role long after you guys leave the council, when you're up in the governor's office in Carson City, Your Honor. So, with that, I have to go ahead and mention some points here to go ahead and bring this council up to speed. And I have to go ahead and start with my councilman, who I've approached a couple months ago relative to meeting to discuss the issues with the Performing Arts Center in Whiting Turner. There's some issues there, Your Honor. If you remember, you weren't, you were here back in 2001 when I brought to this council's attention about the employment plan that was in the drawer, and Brad Jerbick brought it to the council's attention, and she had to stop because you were out of compliance. And then we met and we got things back in compliance. Well, I'm here to report to you today that I believe, Your Honor, the city's back out of compliance. and no one's listening, no one's paying attention. So I'm here to give you this report. I'm going to ask Councilman Barlow to book that meeting that we've been trying to have for 2 months. I would wish to him to have the staff person come on out and get that done before I leave the building. And at that meeting, if he could have Ms. Fretwell and Mr. Jerbick there, because I think this is something that needs to be hashed out before it gets into a much bigger problem. Case in point, there's a question that I've asked of Mr. Arndt that has yet to come back relative to the transfer of money from the Redevelopment Agency to Public Works to do the Public Performing Arts Center. The Redevelopment Agency is the major investor in the Performing Arts Center. Those funds are there, and the use of those funds are supposed to benefit the disadvantaged community. We know that whole story there. There was a transfer from the redevelopment fund to Public Works to do the Public Works project. I'm waiting for an answer from Mr. Arndt, and I'm next going to be looking to go ahead and meet Mr. Jerbick on these items. I will go ahead and be brief here, but I think this is important. The third item is the fact that because we are out of control, Your Honor, and unlike the F Street movement, not wanting to do business that way, I am going to go ahead and engage a compliance review and pay for legal counsel out of our own money and work with Jerbick so we can come back and give you a report on exactly where the city stands. And then you can determine what you need to do. And then if you don't do anything, if you're breaking the law, then obviously then it goes to the next stage. But certainly we have to go ahead and work this thing moving out. I'm also down here on behalf of President Hawkins, the NAACP, in search of the 25+5 minority purchasing plan that he put into play back in 91 and 94 that seems to mysteriously disappear. There's nowhere it can be found. Something I want to get with you about, Mr. Jerbick, there, because I know you know about that because you worked with Mr. Hawkins on that. But, Your Honor, that document can't be found anywhere, and that is a very important document because it corresponds with the employment plan document, since the Performing Arts Center is a public works project now since it got transferred over. So our concern is that the question has to be answered. Why were the funds transferred over? Was it to circumvent the employment plan that is now not in play on the Performing Arts Center as a result of it being a public works project and not a business development project? Lastly, I certainly look forward to meeting the good people over at the Cleveland Clinic this afternoon if they're in the house when they come in, because I believe that they need to understand exactly what's going on, what the law requires, what is required as they come here. And I'm glad the councilman brought the point up that redevelopment does extend north of the freeway, and so you know where our interest is at. And so for Bill Arndt to come quote all the fabulous jobs, those jobs aren't making it down, Your Honor. Okay. I'm over there. Frank Hawkins is over there, Gene. We're being besieged by our people wanting to get the jobs, get the it's not happening.
We understand.
And we have to work with that.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next, please.
Councilman, before I leave, thank you.
Timer, please.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
City Council. My name is Teddy Russell V, resident of Las Vegas. So many good things are happening. It's September in Las Vegas. The weather is wonderful. It's a heavenly time to visit. I did want to mention, because of my good relationship with the Office of the Jewel, it is an outstanding opportunity for purchase. It's in a beautiful setting. It's very quiet, very pleasant, and very safe at night. Again, I do recommend the Jewel because of the multitudes of floor plans and the amenities that are offered. I also wanted to echo the sentiments of Councilman Barlow and his compliments to the Siegel Group. What I find best of all and most important, I've dined there and had a couple of drinks at the Gold Spike. I've dined there more times than I can count, and a few times for drinks. The attitude, the courtesy. I've traveled the world 5-star, and I have found that it has not been exceeded by what you get as far as the enthusiasm. The Siegel employees throughout Las Vegas are goodwill ambassadors, a perfect embodiment of the kind of graciousness, compassion, diligence. They're just excellent in every way, and the enthusiasm of Steve Siegel is contagious. The attention to detail is superb. I cannot thank you enough, Siegel Suites, for all that you're doing. I thank you all so much and have a great day.
Thank you. Next, please.
My name is Anthony Hodges. I live. Thank you. My name is Anthony Harden. I live 123 Sir David. There's things that's happening in our great nation that's beginning to trouble me, but I'm going to say this right quick, Oscar. On the 7th of January 1964 in Phoenix, Arizona, I wrote an editorial. I've been carrying this country and saying to us, see, you have segregation, you have discrimination. When you use the word racism, that's pretty heavy. There's a lot of people in this country are discriminating. A lot of people in our country are segregating. But racism means you wish somebody's annihilated. Hitler was that kind of person, okay? Annihilation means that you just, hey, I don't want you on the plane. You're out of here. So I tell people, I beg them in this country, no one has been thrown under the bus more than me in this nation, but I love it. People can call me anything they want to say, whatever, it doesn't matter. The country comes first, unless we are not, see, you need to set our personal feelings aside. Right now, we're having a problem with that president because the black people in the United States want to make Obama their president, and then the southern, different white people say, well, okay, that's where you want it. We go back to old-fashioned Jim Crow. Hey, you take him, we go back and do our thing. Unless we unite, we are in danger. And you got foreign people all over the world for years that's been watching this country, coming in the back door, buying it up, stealing it left and right, because the southern segregation thing has ruined the country. We can't move forward as a nation. Every president in the United States is the president of all the people. Obama is not just a black president. That man is a mixed race. He is a mixed race. They forget about his mother was white. That doesn't count.
I'm going to have to cut you off.
I know you do, Oscar, but the truth is I'll come back later.
No, you're always welcome to come back, but this is Redevelopment Agency.
It's
not a speech
Redevelopment.
about
I
the
just would like to
president.
know, I'll be here at the end of the day.
All right, you'll be back.
And speak on that. But I want to let all these fine people know.
We understand.
This is a great nation.
We understand.
Put nation first, put your personal feelings aside, and move on. And the president don't belong to any one body, belong to all of us.
Would anybody else like to be heard? All right. Move on to item number 8. Would any member of the Redevelopment Agency like to be heard at this time? All right, hearing none, the Redevelopment Agency is adjourned, and we're going to start our council meeting at, how much time do you need? 5 minutes? In 5 minutes.